You gotta do better than that.
Well, does the Knicks players' reactions prove that this firing was a mistake?
No, it wasn't a mistake. You know, Tibbs has been there long enough. I think he pushed the Knicks as far as they can go. And I think at this point they need a new system, a new voice. You know, when you've been there so long, I think he maxed out the roster. And the players got love for Tibbs. You know, on your exit, you don't hardly ever see players talking about, you know, thank God he's gone, or thank God, you know. And those guys love him because Josh Hart became the best player he's ever been under Tibbs. And so did Jalen Brunson. So I know they're going to have nothing but good words for him. And so I don't think it was a mistake. Well, the mistake came in is not knowing who's going to be the next guy. You know, once Jason Kidd turned it down, I turned it down. It's just they didn't know. They don't know where to go, what direction to go in now.
Not after those two.
You know, I mean, the two best candidates.
Yep.
So I don't know where they go from here.
Why don't we have Paul Pierce on this list?
Yeah.
No, I was on there. I turned on the job already.
These are current coaches that were denied permission to speak.
See, that's why, though, Joy, that's why I think it was a mistake. Because you just said current coaches denied the permission to speak. You should have had your ducks lined up in a row prior to firing your coach and know that, hey, I got something in my back pocket just in case it goes a different direction. Doesn't feel that way. You know, when you keep, as Paul, let me see if I can get one of Paul's analogies correct. If you keep trying to court a girl and then she don't want to talk to you, you know what I'm saying? At some point, you're going to have to give up.
She don't want to talk to you because she's married.
Right.
Yeah.
Because she's married.
They're proposing to married women. Like, do you see this ring?
But
no.
No.
But married women.
And married to a CEO in most cases. Like, they got the deal.
And the ring, like, you're not even offering a bigger ring, and the ring might end with a divorce in 2 years.
But coaches have been taken away from organizations in the past.
Everyone they've talked to already has a job.
Yeah, but there's been coaches that had jobs that you've been able and allowed to talk to that you persuade.
Yeah, but you ever seen the movie He's not that into you?
I don't know that I have. Maybe I did. I don't know. I'm probably, maybe not.
I feel like the Knicks don't understand that they are not the exception to the rule.
No, they made a mistake. They made a major mistake. It's a major mistake because you're supposed to have your ducks lined up. You're supposed to know.
Two things can be true. And first of all, every GM that I've known has always walked around with a list in their pocket
of candidates.
Of their candidates.
Yes, absolutely.
And whether they have a head coach or not, they have who they want, like if they could get them, who they would want. And this doesn't seem like the Knicks had that list. Or if they did, it was an awfully faulty one. But two things can be true. The Knicks can have screwed up this process, and it was still the right move in terms of moving on Tibbs. And I think the players' reaction would suggest that they agree with that. Because everything that I heard them talk about was about what he's done for them, not what they were still capable of doing. I hear an appreciation.
Because if they say what he's capable of doing, then now you really are smacking the organization in the face as a player. So you're trying to reserve that, you know?
But if you disagree with this move, then you could leave it more open that, you know what, we're really going to miss him. Like, he did a lot for us. I mean, everything they said was, man, we are so appreciative of what he did. I just didn't get any sense from them that they're like, that they don't agree with us in that it was time to make a change.
He's not coming back. So, you know, I don't know that I feel like they were very clear that they appreciated their time with him. I maintain they should have given him one more year.
Yes.
I think it's crazy that you get to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years as an organization. You made the playoffs for
every
the last
year. They
5
keep
seasons.
building.
Every year you've gotten better, and no one expected you to be there in the first place. We were not talking about them as real contenders to get to the finals. Like, we just weren't.
But once you're there, and I really think that.
Then they overachieved. So, like, why not? What's one more year going to do? Because next year, you've now put the next person that's coming in an almost impossible position. The expectations clearly are this team, with whatever tweaks we make as an organization, must get back to the Eastern Conference Finals or better. So any coach that already has a job, which seems to be the only coaches that they're interested in, is not going to leave their organization to go for those kind of expectations. Even Jason Kidd, who I think of all of those coaches that they have tried to steal away, is in the most, crossroads type of situation. He is not expected to get to the Western Conference Finals next year.
Yep.
So that's a high mark to hit in your first year as a coach for the New York Knicks. And then really what they want you to do is get to the finals, because Tibbs took them to the Eastern Conference Finals, and that wasn't enough.
Understood. And I think that unfortunately for Tibbs, it's circumstance. And he lost to a team that also massively overachieved, and that's the Indiana Pacers. And he lost to an Indiana Pacers team 2 years in a row after the Knicks went and got a Mikal Bridges and they got a Karl Anthony Towns, and it still wasn't enough. So your rationale makes perfect sense. You did enough that you deserve another crack at this. But I think that the thinking was, man, if you couldn't get past him now, why should we believe that you're going to get past them at any point?
Because what's getting ready to happen in this situation is, like Joy is saying, you're getting ready to bring somebody else in that's got to do exactly what you did or better. And if that person doesn't do anything close to that, now you're getting ready to set the franchise back even further. Because if you go and you make whatever little tweak or adjustment with Tibbs for the following season, you may wind up hitting and getting over. Otherwise, part ways with it.
You may, but if you're the GM, if you're Leon Rose, if you're Jim Dolan, and you look at the moves that you've made to put together your roster, and you look at the Indiana Pacers roster, you're saying we should beat them. We gave you the roster, and then you add on top of it that it was only by force that he went into his bench to utilize that roster completely. I understand the grounds on which they made this decision.
Well,
we gave you a roster that was better than you made it out to be because you weren't willing to fully utilize it until you had to.
And that may be the case, and that's probably why he lost his job. But with that being said, you don't have a note in your pocket with names on it.
Well, another prominent NBA figure denied the Knicks yesterday, so let's take a listen.
I found the perfect coach for the Knicks.
I'm just saying, though. I'm just saying. I mean, I know. Hey, listen, if y'all need a coach for the New York Knicks, I'm not available. So you. Wow. Tough job. I'm not taking that job.
Paul's not taking it. Quinn Snyder also was denied permission to speak with the Knicks. So since you're not going to take the job, who else should the Knicks go after, Paul?
Man, I don't know. It's going to take a certain type of personality. And this is like, the more and more I think about it, it's going to take a certain type of coach that's going to have to embody what New York is pretty much all about. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if you look at somebody like Patrick Ewing, when I think about it, who has some coaching experience, or because I think yesterday I mentioned Coach Bud, but I don't think he fits that mold of what a New York coach should embody for the Knicks. This is going to be a difficult decision because all the guys that they went after, like Jason Kidd, he checks the boxes for a New York coach. Ime does, Snyder does, but these guys aren't available. So, I think they should take their sweet time and get the right person because this can go it could go left if they don't have the right person. And the fans, the New York fans, will turn on you. If you don't put the right coach in place that can make the necessary moves and adjustment to get them over the top.
They might want to start with somebody who doesn't already have a job.
Paul Pierce.
No, I'm good.
Paul has a job.
I'm good.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.